Hello, I am Endlessness and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and in this video I'd like to give you a guide for the floor B1 in the Battle Tower. We have Genesis as a boss, and while mainly you need physical wind DPS, Genesis will have force gauges during which he will resist all kinds of physical damage, so you can only deplete them with magic damage. But Genesis will also keep poisoning you, so you need Esuna Poison on your team. And we have quite a few options for wind DPS by now, and you could run even dual DPS on your team with one physical and the other magic. But if you're going to run with just one DPS, you need to have defensive buffs and bring attack debuffs for the boss, and it should be fine. And I have Sephiroth as DPS, and if your Sephiroth is stronger than mine, you could deplete the force gauge with magic wind materia. But Anju has support to buff attack and defenses as well as to debuff the boss, and Naki as healer, and he's lowering wind resistance and also buffing wind damage. Naki has Canyon outfit with Stardust Ray, but Limit Break doesn't really matter here. Silver color to debuff wind resistance, Brilliant color to buff wind damage, Cura in Okyo slots, and Esuna Poison to cure the status. And in sub-equipment slots, a guild weapon with physical defense, but you can switch it for magic defense for allies, scimitar to boost heal and buff debuff extension, and also a weapon with magic attack for allies and buff debuff extension. Anju has default outfit, Store Integrity to buff physical attack and defense, Two-Hander to debuff attack, Mana Ward to buff magic defense, and Esuna Poison. And then sub-equipment slots, Anju has two guild weapons with physical and magic defense, and a weapon with attack for allies and buff debuff extension. Sephiroth has Odin outfits, Dark Heavens for DPS, Odin for exploit weakness, 3 wind potency materia, and in sub-equipment slots Partisan to further boost wind potency, and for the other 2 slots you can give him weapons to max out physical attack and boost physical ability potency, or the generic one. Alright, Genesis doesn't really have a lot of HP, but he is a little bit annoying, so he will keep poisoning your characters. But you can ignore it for now, because you don't really take too much damage. However, just as you max out the command gauge, you'll have a force gauge. So that means you can only deplete it with magic attacks. And it really depends on your DPS. If you have only one DPS, even if it's a physical DPS, but you boost his stats more, so you can 100% deplete this gauge. But if not, like me, I recommend on Anju, definitely debuff attack of the boss and use mana wards at the very least on Sephiroth, so he doesn't take too much damage and doesn't accidentally die. But now it's simple, just Cura. And also those attacks, they always debuff physical attack, and as we don't have to deal with the force gauge anymore, we need all kinds of physical attack buffs here. So just Cura one more time until Naki's wind buffs expire. But here, just ignore everything and continue doing DPS. But now is the second same attack, so you can, with Mana Ward, you can buff magic defense on everyone, and also, if you want to, Angel's Limit Break can buff magic defense, or actually both defenses with mid potency. So if you cast Materia and then cast his Limit Break, you get high potency magic defense buff on your whole team. But now there will be second force gauge, so just prepare for that. And that's the same exact thing as the opening. If you can deplete it, then Genesis gets stunned and this attack will never happen, but it just depends on your DPS. And now everyone has high potency magic defense buff, so you won't really take any damage here. And I just heal. But also with Angio, we have to nullify that physical attack debuff and buff it again. Just a little bit more. But also those dark energies, they don't hurt you, so don't worry about it. Oh, and actually I didn't realize I didn't have physical attack buff. But yeah, Genesis might be a little bit annoying, but he really doesn't have a lot of HP. So you can defeat him quite quickly, even if you can't deplete that force gauge in time and you get hit. He still dies quickly. But yeah, if you can't deplete his force gauge, you will never really get attacked. Or at least you'll skip it, most of them. But yeah, that would be all. And of course you can use other characters. Aerith can debuff wind resistance also herself, so you can bring 2 DPS to just speed her through this battle. So yeah, that would be it. So I hope you found my guide helpful, and good luck on your own clear. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next one.